Alright guys, I'm gonna try to do this without any edits like I have in the past, not all the videos, but a couple of the past videos, just because it's easier on me and I like it like that because it shows more of what really goes on. As long as I don't get to mumbling and jumbling and rattling too much about crap that don't really matter. And sometimes that's what I edit out because I get on a kick and it's just ain't even nothing pertaining to what we're talking about. Anyway, I've got the 661 here, and this is like the fourth time I'm trying to do this because my phone keeps shutting off, the one I record with for some reason, and I don't know what the deal is with it, but anyhow, I dyed it and cut the hole in the back like I did the 500 and all that kind of good crap in the 400. And I had a guy message me on YouTube and asked me why I didn't run the max airflow covers. Not that there's anything wrong with the way they perform or whatever, but for one reason why I don't run it, and I don't know about the 661 because I didn't even look into it after I got the 500i. For one, the 500i cover is big and gaudy. It sticks out a mile past. For two, it's black, but it's not the same color black that I dye these plastics, and it just looks hideous on there, really. And for one, they're what, $60 or $80, and I can get these uni filters off Amazon, or you can get them through Redbeard Saws or whatever, yada yada yada. But I get two of them. I've got two sets. All the uni filters that I've got in these 2-packs or whatever, I've got off Amazon. I think they're like 35 bucks. So, round about, give or take, depending on the size of the filter and all that, I guess who's selling them, but not over 40, I know that. So you're giving like 20 bucks a piece, 15 to 20 bucks a piece for the uni filters. Yeah, you're having to mess your top cover up a little bit, but for me, it ain't really messing up because I always figure out, you don't even have to run it. A lot of people don't even run it on the 500i, but I think it looks cleaner and the wires are hid for all the fuel injection stuff and all that. This ain't that big of a deal because it's like the old 660, the carbs inside the filter base and all that. It's in a box, you can't even see it. The only thing you can see is just like the butterfly of the carb, and that's it. So it ain't no great big deal on this, but I think it looks cleaner, and I just like tinkering with stuff and seeing if I can modify it and make it a little better than what I think is a little better than what it was. So this isn't the right West Coast saw cover, bill aluminum cover. This is the 660 one that I took off the 400. The one that came with my kit, I went ahead and put on the 400C because it fit better. I put the dog on, tried it and all that, and it fit great. So I just went ahead and ordered me another one. It should be here before long. And I still got a few more things to do to it before I want to cut with it anyway, so I'm not just in a dire rush to cut with it. Plus, I've got to go to where there's some wood at to cut anyway, so I don't have much wood around up here at the house anymore that would even make, give this saw a challenge. So we are going to weight up. It's full gas going, so is the 592. We're going to weigh it up against the 592. To me, this feels considerably lighter, and like I can feel the difference in it. Now, whether it's that much lighter or not, I don't really know, but it feels lighter to me. And I don't know if it's just, once you get, when I was running Husqvarnas all the time, when I picked up like the STIHL 660 or a STIHL saw, it just didn't feel just the same, And I guess since I've been running some of these STIHLs more and more, maybe the Huskies just don't feel the same. So that could be some of it too. But as far as the videos I've watched, I know these are down a little bit, a little slower in the cut, a little less power is what I'm getting at, I guess, than the 592. But also they're lighter. I think this STIHL spec say this weighs 16.5. And that 592, I'm not sure what they say the dry weight is, like 17.2, 17.4, or something like that, maybe 17.8. I can't remember exactly, but it's somewhere in the 17-pound range. Not in the uppers, but more near the middle or the low, the best I can remember. But But anyway, I want to show you what I got going on, how I modified this to make this cover. And I'll bring y'all in close here in a minute. Well, I'll bring you in close right now. For one, I drilled a hole right here. Just a small hole with like a 1/8 inch or smaller drill bit. So I could run this screw in right here. This come out of my Husky 372 screw kit that I got from Husqvarna or whatever. And it works great. I run it in most times. Now I'm not torquing it down when I'm tightening it. You know, I'm just, all this is to keep this from lifting up. It's not really to hold it to it. It's just kind of like a catch. And that's what I'm fixing to show you on this. Probably, if I would have drilled this hole right here, I've got a hole drilled right here. If I would have drilled it a little further back, where it would have caught on the back side of this, then I probably could have just run this screw so you can see the hole that I got right there. And there's nothing right here for this to, you know, for that screw to bother. So that's no big deal. But I probably could have just run a screw back down here, and then it would have been like, you know, just a catch, like some clevises. But the way I've got it is I've got a hole drilled in the filter base right here, and I done it just like I did the 500 iron. Run a zip tie through it, run it up through the cover, loop it around, zip tie tight, and it'll hold it there. Which you see a zip tie, but it's black. It ain't like I'm using a pink or white zip tie. Although white may not look bad, it would contrast it some. But, and I've got sinus and allergies are working on me with the weather changing or something, or I don't know what the deal is. It ain't changed dramatically. It was cooler a few mornings last week, like got down to 55 or 60, but now it's back muggy and hot, and it was supposed to be cooler, but it's not. So I don't know what the hell is that. Maybe after all this storms and rain we get, it'll cool down some. Cool down more than 85, 90 with a humidity of 140. My PK82 filter that fit on the 500i V-stack, which is a 2-inch, 1 7/8", 2-inch inlet, does not work on this. It's too small. That's why I had the green weenie shoved on it, or whatever they call it. I think they call it a green weenie, just to keep crap from going in there till I get my PK92. I have ordered some PK92 filters, and I'll show you how this screw works. This little screw that I made works real quick. I just put it in there, and I get it started a little bit in this cover, and then I push this, because when I drilled the hole, I had it, you know, I pushed it tight so it'd be in the right spot. And then I just look down here, and when I ever so slightly start to put tension on it or whatever, I just quit, because I just, like I say, I just want it to make it snug. I don't want to be clamping down on it and strip it out, because then if I do that, I'm screwed. Although I probably could run a zip tie through that too, and just keep it holding it, which that'll work if that ever happens. But I kind of like the screw deal, because it's something you can take on and off and you don't have to get more of. That's the only thing that I hate about the 500i is, and I may look into drilling some holes and putting screws there to hold that, to keep it from flopping. But I like the zip ties because it really keeps it tight. It's just like bolting it on or whatever. Whereas if you just screw and rest, like if I put a hole right here and screwed it in and it just was resting against the back of the filter base, I mean, yeah, it'd keep it from coming off this way, but it could do a little lifting or a little twisting or something, and the zip ties just keep it. The only downfall of that is, you know, which I typically don't clean the filters unless I'm here at the garage, which if something happened, I was cutting out in the field and had to clean them or something, blow them out or wash them out in a pinch, then I would just take the cover off, clean the filter, put it back on, and run it without the cover for the rest of that day or whatever, you know, the rest of that time. It's not a have to. There's all kinds of people that run the 500i with just the green weenie, and they leave the back of the cover, you know, this cover off. I don't do that because, like I say, I like keeping those wires covered up on the 509 and all that. This ain't that big of a problem because there's less exposed, as you've seen, and that kind of stuff. I do got the bark box on it, and I got the West Coast dogs and all that kind of stuff. It's getting West Coast tricked out as just like my other stills. I really like West Coast saw accessories for the stills. I mean, I think they're top notch. I like their bark boxes. I like their dogs. I like their filter setups. I like their raker gauges. I mean, that's a guy that, and I'm not getting paid to say this or nothing, but that's a guy that uses a saw for a living, and I don't know him personally, or he has, which it still looks like to me he still does some cutting, and he knows what make a saw better by him experiencing it in the real world. But anyway, the saw ain't terrible heavy. It don't feel like it. It feels lighter than 592 for sure, and we're gonna weigh it up right now and quit messing around with it. Like I say, this ain't the cover, but it's the 660 cover, so it should be close enough for weight. Make sure I got that thing on there good. I don't want my brand new my baby saw getting away from me. All right, it's weighing in at 19.24. 19.24. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think I'm dying. See what this big bad mother weighs. 20 and a half pounds. 20.52. It's bouncing between 20 and a half, 25.0 to 25.2. So you get a little, like a pound and a quarter. Yeah, about a pound and a quarter heavier. So the 592 is a pound and a quarter heavier than the STIHL 661 is. Like I say, for some reason, it feels more than a pound heavier. And I know I've got the full wrap on the Husqvarna, and this will soon get a full wrap, and I'll weigh it again if it makes that big of a difference. Which I think I've got videos of me weighing this when I first got it without the full wrap, and I don't know what it weighed in here, but I know it was 19 something. But it feels heavier. Like, I know it ain't nothing but a pound, but like, I can toss that up, let go of it, and not afraid to do that. And it don't put me in that much behind this. I mean, it feels heavier. But to me, it feels like Husqvarna puts their weight more at the dead center, or kind of more towards the back of the saw, and STIHL puts theirs a little more toward the front. For some reason, it feels like that. Like, the STIHL feels way lighter in the back half of it than the Husqvarna does. Well, I'll show you. Which, when you get the bar on there, on the Husqvarna, it's going to even out. But like, that sits like that. Pretty well canted back. I may have that up too high, but it sits like that. Pretty well canted back. A little bit more towards the center. And this one may do the same thing. It's about the same, I guess, but it just feels lighter in the back. One thing The 661 has a spring set up real similar to the 592. Both of them got a spring right here, and both of them got a spring right here at the front. But the only difference I've seen between STIHL and the Husqvarna spring mounts, and it may be why some people complain about STIHL, if you put a real long bar on, being a little floppier, is Husqvarna, and I don't know if this makes a difference or not, but it's the only real difference I can see in them. And some of the STIHL saws, they got the spring running this way, but like this STIHL, the 500i and this 661, the spring is this way. As to where the Husqvarna spring on the 592 is this way. And like the 400C, I think, is this way on the STIHL side of it. And the 500i is this way too. Because I think the 500i suspension kit you get from West Coast Saw is just the 661 spring and piece right here. So I don't know how 881's made, which I haven't heard anybody really complain about too long, a long bar on this being too floppy or whatever. I mean, one thing about it's only going to flop so much till it bottoms out, so, and then you're going to be bending the bar, so, it does suck to have one that's just terribly floppy, but they all got a little flop to them. Even the Husqvarna and the newer STIHLs are more floppy than like the 390, 395, which 395 is built heavy duty, it's big CC, so it's made for big bar. But like the 390, the 372, to me they're a little stiffer than the newer STIHL and even the newer 5 Series Huskies. And I don't know what if they're different or what, but they feel stiffer. And which I know in the newer saws they're trying to get it to where you get less vibration, but that's everything if you're running a saw all day. So let's just look at the 661. I will say I wish they would have done like the half snap things like they did on the 500i. This is just threaded. It's aggravating as all get out. You got to take the plug wire off and everything to get this off. I'm not crazy about that, which it just is what it is. I think, I don't know, the 500i may be like that. I ain't really got in, I don't think I've done that to the 500i yet. But to me, on these versus the 660, and I don't know if the bore's bigger or not on the 661, but the cylinder on the 661 and the exhaust is a little bigger than the one on the 660, which is, I don't know if y'all can see it on my bench, but yeah, it's sitting over there. The cylinder looks a little smaller, and they may have just widened the fins out for better cooling or something. I really don't know. Like I say, I don't know. Honestly, I know a little more about Husqvarna, and I don't know a lot of anything. But I know a little more about Husqvarna than I do STIHL, because just as like 2 months ago, I was a full-blown Husky guy, and now when I bought my first STIHL, it kind of changed my mind. I guess they say you don't know what you are missing till you got it. It's kind of like chocolate cake. You don't ever miss chocolate cake if you ain't never had it, but you have it, and then it's like, damn, I'd like to have me some of that. And that's kind of the way it is with the STIHL. You kind of trash talk them when you're running what you think is your favorite, and then you get one, and it kind of makes you eat crow. Like I'm eating a lot of crow. And I know I get on here and do shorts about the Husqvarna just aggravating. I mainly do that because people get so wound up, and it's silly to me, the feud about STIHL and Husqvarna. because here's the deal: as long as I like what I'm running, I really don't care what anybody else thinks. I know what I can get done with the saws I have, and Husqvarna served me well, and so far still has too. So, if you get mad because somebody, like, I've had some people really pissed because of those shorts that I do, and to me it's kind of silly because if you're so crazy about it, it shouldn't matter what I put out about anything. If you like it so well, then it doesn't matter, because that's like me. I like the 400 500i, and I don't care what anybody says, how anybody trash talks it. They're not going to persuade me that them two saws are not the two best saws out on the market right now. That's my thought. That's not a fact, but my thought are the 400 and the 500i, 400C and the 500i that STIHL makes are the two best saws on the market right now, hands down. The 400, as far as weight to power ratio, surpasses the 592 in my book. And really, did I need the 661? Probably not, because I've got the 500i. And yeah, some people are going to say, well, you could have bought another 500i and got it ported. Yeah, I could have, and I thought about that. But really, I just want to, for one, I bought this kind of for the channel, for myself, but mainly for the channel too, to compare it to the 592, which I know there's other people doing videos out there of it. And, but I just want to do videos of it and throw my 2 cents in there and have my own experience with it, so I can see if the Husqvarna is really beating it by that much, or if people are kind of sandbagging or what, And like I say, people can have sandbagged that 400 against the 372 and the 572, but I didn't. I did it first. I put a crappy chain on the 572 and it made it look terrible, but at the end, I'm running different bars because that steel bar wouldn't fit on my Husky without me notching the slide out just a little bit more. But it does have the same chain. They was 2 foot or 20 inch, I don't know, because they'll interchange. Everything interchanges with STIHL and Husky on the chain links except the 28 inch, and one's a 93 and one's a 91. Makita's 92, and that's what I run is in the middle. But everything else is 84, 72. And I think on the 32 inch it's 105. I don't know about 3 foot because I don't hardly ever run 3 foot. But so it did have the same chain on the end, and it beat it every time. Same bar and chain. And like that short, that 572, bogged down. I wouldn't even lean on it. I just got it in the wood, and it barely picked up, and it stopped it. The 400C, you see me going, which the chain was hungry, but you see me going, it kind of sits down for a minute like it's going to bog, but it just pulls on through and then gets in the low range and just eats. It don't ever stop. It's like, to me, it was like running my ported 372. And I'm going to get that ported kit saw out and run it against the 400 and see how they stack up. And I'm gonna run some saws, and I've also thought about running, which I'm kind of piggybacking off Buck and everybody, we all watch him, and that's probably why 90% of us started YouTube channels. But I'm gonna try to get me some 3/8 LP chain and make a loop of like a 2 footer and put it on one of these big saws and see if the LP 3/8 is faster than the regular 3/8. I think you can run a 3/8 LP on the sprocket and the bar and everything, as long as it's the same gauge, and everything. I don't know for sure, but you should be able to because the links are the same. I'll have to look into that, but I'm gonna try to do something like that. Where he's doing the baby seat or whatever. I'm gonna take all that out and just get LP 3/8 and it's automatically a baby C, you know what I mean, in a way. So, and see how it does. But all in all, I like this saw. I haven't fired it up or even really run. I ain't even stuck it in a piece of wood. They fired it up when I left from the saw shop, and that's the last that run. One thing I will tell you, let me get something to drink real quick, and I'll come back to you. Not trash talking the guy up there where I bought this STIHL at. He's been a mechanic for a long time, and he's still master certified or whatever. I mean, he's as high as a mechanic as you can get for STIHL. But on these 661s and the 500i, if you're not getting enough oil, like for a long bar, you've got to turn it all the way up as far as it'll go. Look at it, flip it over, and somebody may have already done it if you bought it used, or if you bought it new and you haven't done it. If you look, I'll take you off the stand real quick, or I'll leave you on the stand. I'm gonna take it down here, get a hold of you, put you where I want you to be. Sorry, guys. Where is it? Oh, crap. You ain't still gonna be able to see it, probably. But if you look down there, nah, it's glaring too bad. Let me take you out of the stand. There goes the stand. If you look down in here, which I've got it covered up, see that little top right? You see I've got a little slot there covered up. Well, if you ain't punched it in already, that's a little pin. And what I done is got the flat screwdriver, the little carb adjusting screwdriver, steel, and you barely peck it. I mean, it don't take just the weight of the hammer coming down. Don't smack the fire out of it, or you'll break your roller. But you can tap that in, and that gets you more oil. More oil going on. And I broke my stand. I had to fix that. But that gets you more oil. So if you're having trouble with your oiler, then it is what it is. Just check it and see. I know I don't know about all other STIHL models, but I know the 500i and the 661 has it. So anyway, we'll catch y'all on the next one. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you later. If you like what you're seeing, like, subscribe, and hit the bell.